Welcome and thanks for purchasing the Gamblers campaign. I'm John Rainwaters, former F-16 demo pilot and member of the 77th Fighter Squadron. Before you jump in, Baltic Dragon and I thought we would put together a short tutorial to better prepare you for what lies ahead. We could simply have asked you to go through the entire README file, but we all know how that usually ends. There are several things that you should know and grasp in order to fully enjoy our campaign. So trust me, these next 10 minutes will be a good investment of your time. We'll spend it on active pause, not to take your attention away from the instructions and examples. So let's go. In this campaign, you'll have a chance to fly some of the very missions that were based on my experience, as well as the experiences of my squadron mates during deployment with the Gamblers in 2014 and 2015. There are also others, portraying other iconic moments in Operation Inherent Resolve, such as the Battle of Raqqa, which occurred in 2017. While developing these, we tried to stay as close to real events as possible, while of course making sure that no classified or restricted information would make its way into the campaign. With that introduction out of the way, let's get to making you fully mission ready. Let's get going. First and the most important thing is to properly bind your HOTAS buttons that will enable you to almost completely avoid having to use the spacebar or F10 radio menu for making choices during your playthrough. Of course, both options will still be there and you can always use them if you prefer, or if you don't have any more HOTAS switches to spare, but I highly recommend that you use the new system. We'll be using the plain cipher switch, which has 3 positions, 1, 2, and off. It doesn't have any function in the sim and thus perfect for what we want to do here. It's located right here. I suggest you open the controls menu and bind the plain cipher switch, CRAD 1 and CRAD 2 positions to a switch on your HOTAS. Once you've done this, press the spacebar to continue. When playing through the Gambler campaign, you will often be asked to indicate that you are ready to move on or that you've accomplished some simple task. The indication will always show in a form of a prompt on the right side of the screen. Let me demonstrate it for you.
Here, let me know when you're ready to taxi.
2, Wilco.
You can now see the prompt saying spacebar 1 or 2 on the left side and giving you basic information about what you are expected to do on the right. So in this case, when you're ready to taxi, simply press freshly mapped HOTAS switch 1 or 2 or use the spacebar to continue. Try it now.
2, ready to taxi.
There will be situations where you'll be presented with 2 options, such as deciding who should conduct an attack on a specific target, or choosing either to read back given coordinates or ask them to be repeated. In the case, the direction you press on the HOTAS button will make a big difference, so try and remember which one is number 1 and which one is 2. Here's another example.
Raj, we're going in with 38s. You take the 2 AAA emplacements to the west and me the 2 to the east. Single pass, I'll roll in first, you 30 seconds after me. We'll egress back here.
Now you can see you are presented with 2 choices. 1 to confirm you received the transmission, 2 to ask for the information to be repeated. This time you can either choose to use the good old F10 radio menu button, or you can choose to reply via HOTAS with button 1 or 2. First, ask for the plan to be repeated by using 2.
1, say again your last.
Raj, we're going in with 38s. You take the 2 AAA emplacements to the west and me the 2 to the east. Single pass, I'll roll in first, you 30 seconds after me. We'll egress back here.
As you can see, the prompt did not disappear, and you can keep asking for the message to be repeated as many times as you like. The other dude or dudette won't be annoyed. Well, maybe apart from that one mission, but there's no spoilers here. Okay, now choose 1.
2 copies all, 38. Single pass. 2 emplacements to the west are mine. egress south, roll in 30 seconds behind you.
Excellent. The prompt disappears and the mission will continue. One more thing to remember is that sometimes there will be a hidden F10 option without any prompt on the screen. So if you spot something out of the ordinary, let's say explosions, do check it out and you can report them. You won't be notified beforehand, and if you do use this option, you may score extra points. Okay, let's really dive into it and get into what's important here. Fighter-to-fighter terminology. The fighter-to-fighter brief is a specific briefing that occurs between the flight lead and his wingman that provides concise information about the attack. Here's an example of a fighter-to-fighter brief from the same transmission you heard at least twice a few moments ago.
Trail, shooter, 2 times GBU-38, in from the south, egress south, SOAR west.
You'll find a brief description of the terminology used on your kneeboard. However, I'll give you some important point-outs. If you're told to go and trail, do go and trail and drop and shoot behind your flight lead. Otherwise, this might not work out well for you. Shooter to shooter indicates who's doing what. So in this case, both the flight lead and the wingman will conduct an attack. If you're directed to shoot or cover, only the flight lead would engage, etc. Then, the weapons used, ingress and egress direction. It's good to follow, however, you won't be penalized in the campaign if you don't. And finally, the sort part, which is very important. The sort tells the wingman which target to attack. So if you have 2 armored personnel carriers and are told to sort west, then you would have to engage the western one if you were the wingman, or the eastern one if you were the flight lead. You will usually pay the price for messing those up, most likely in the need to expend more bombs or mavericks, which may mean you run out of them later on, which in turn can have various impacts on the mission. It could mean you're Remington and have to RTB early without experiencing the whole sortie, to losing points at the end. Don't say I didn't warn you. Another important aspect here, if you're told to attack but fail to drop, and you decide to run in again, in most instances the mission will wait for you. However, in some cases you'll hear yourself saying off dry, or someone will yell at you saying that you're taking too long and that you should abort. But at this point you'll know you messed up. Now a few words about radio frequencies. As the case with all Baltic Dragon campaigns, surprisingly enough, you'll need to be on the correct frequency to hear whatever is being transmitted there, which means, as is in the case of real life, you will be jumping between them quite a lot. However, in the Gambler campaign, the game will detect whenever you switch to the correct channel and will progress automatically. Here's a quick example.
2, 1, push button 5 on pry.
2.
Okay, now you see the prompt on the right side of the screen. It is enough to push the required channel or manually enter the frequency on the given radio, and things will move on. To make sure we're on the same page, pry is the UHF radio, aux is the VHF one. In case of trouble, there is always the F10 menu option to move action forward if the game fails to recognize that you switch. Do so now. Select pry 5. So now choose channel 5 on UHF radio. All the required frequencies will be listed on the kneeboard for each mission. This is a very easy and seamless way to save you a lot from pressing spacebar. One more note about the radios. There will be moments where you'll hear a lot of radio traffic coming simultaneously on both selected channels. This is realistic and intended. Just remember about the volume knobs if you need to focus on one of them.
And one more thing, which I should have mentioned at the beginning. Make sure that the easy communication is disabled in the gameplay tab in the options menu.
Another automated part of the missions will be the fence in and fence out procedure. While in real life each pilot will be responsible for this, and each letter in fence has an abbreviation and means specific things for a pilot to do. You can look it up if you're curious, but for this campaign you will need to set up only a few things. Whenever you see this prompt, you should turn your lights master knob switch off. Set the countermeasure knob to manual, semi, or auto, and master arm to the arm position. You can also simply use the F10 menu or press 1 or 2 on your HOTAS to announce that you are fenced in. So go ahead and fence in. Very good. For the fence out, there are 3 things the sim will check. Lights knob, not in the off position, countermeasure knob in standby or off, and master arm in safe, or F10 HOTAS again. Go ahead and fence out. Okay, the last thing I want to cover is scoring and debriefing. In general, after you land, you will be presented with a debriefing, which will also inform you on where you lost points, if any. It is important to notice that to have the mission counted as a success, you need to first land, kind of like real life. After that, you'll taxi to the assigned parking spot and you'll see this prompt, which will also remind you to check the debrief. To read the debriefing, simply press escape and then select the briefing option. Whatever was there before the mission will be replaced with a mission summary with indications where you didn't perform as well as you expected.
On a more general note before I let you go, some players report that unofficial third-party mods, like aircraft or additional software, may impact DLC campaigns and affect the way in which the AI behaves. Therefore, to be on the safe side and get the best out of this campaign, we highly recommend that you disable them for your playthrough. It's not that you'll be using them anyway. Finally, we would like to thank WinWing for sponsoring this campaign. You'll be seeing their logo at the end of the missions, and rightly so. They make some pretty damn good flight accessories.
And that's it. We hope you enjoyed this campaign and looking forward to your feedback. Rain out.